Hello everyone, my name is Aryan Bhandari and this is Java course by DoCoNation. So in previous session we learned about if-else conditional statements and types of loops in Java, and in this session we'll be continuing with methods and arrays. So let's start with method. So if you have studied C or C++ earlier, you must be knowing about function, right? So method is also like a function only. So in Java terminology, we say that we call a function as method. Okay, so this public static void main is also a method, and this is the variable name of the method. Okay, so main is a method name. Okay, and we are passing some arguments to it, right? So let's just create one more method, and we cannot do nesting of methods. That means if I try to this is a method, right? This is a method, and if I try to make one more method inside it, let's just say public static void method. So it's gonna give me an error. Okay, I cannot do nesting of methods in Java. So let's cut this and paste it over here. So over here it's working fine because this is out of a method. Okay, and we'll study about this class and public and static variables in our further sessions. Yeah, so let's study about this void, which is a return type, and my method name. Okay, so this is the method name I have given. You can give any method name, 2 or 3, whichever you like, right? And what is void? So if I write void, that means I'm gonna return nothing. Okay, and if I'm gonna write int, that means I have to return a integer value from this method. So now it is giving me an error. So what is the error? It's telling me add a return statement or change the return statement to void, which we have written earlier. So if I have written int, I have to give a return type of integer value. Okay, so now the error is gone, right? Similarly for float, double, and everything. And this is how a basic structure of method looks like. Now let's say we need to create a method to add a sub. Okay, to add two numbers. So let's just say I have my first number is 10 and my second number is 20. And how to call this method? I have to simply just say meth like this. Okay, like this. That means I'm calling this method in this main method. Okay, so this I can call any many methods inside a method, but I cannot declare a whole method inside a method. So I think that's clear. Okay, so we'll just make it relatable to the what we are gonna perform. So we're gonna add the two numbers. We'll say this will be addition, and we're gonna pass it number 1 and number 2. Okay, so inside this bracket I'm gonna write number 1 and number 2. Okay, so I'm passing some variables over here. So this is giving error because I don't have any method named as addition. So let me just say addition, right? Okay, so when I passed number 1 and number 2 to catch it over here, what is the value of number 1 and number 2? So to do that, we write int, let's say number 1 and int number 2. So this variable can be anything. Okay, but to reduce confusion, we write another name for the value we are passing. Okay, so in number 1 I have 10, in number 2 I have 20, and I'm using this method and passing these two variables. Okay, so this contains 10 and this contains 20, and over here now as I caught it in my n1, so n1 will have 10 and my n2 will have 20. Okay, so now what I can do, I can simply just instead of returning 0, I can return n1 plus n2. Okay, and to print the result I have to put this in a printing statement like this. Okay, now just let's compile it and let's run it and see. So it's giving me 30, right? Now instead of this you can also write like you declare another variable over here like answer, and then you can uh, put the sum in the answer, and then afterwards you can return the answer. Okay. Can we return many variables using return? So let's just say if you have another variable, let's say you have multiplied also. So n1 into n2. Okay, can I return like this? No, definitely not. It's giving me an error, right? The primitive type of int does not have a field multiplier. Okay, so while you're returning, you can only return a one variable. Okay, so if I just run it again, it's gonna give me 30. Yeah, right. So this was about methods, and if you have any doubt, you can ask. So let's move on to arrays, and let me first comment these. So array, uh, it is an indexed collection of fixed homogeneous data type. So now I'll explain you the whole sentence. Bear with me. So this is how you declare an array in Java. I'm gonna say int array equals new int, and you have to define the size over here. Okay. So this is the syntax. You can write this square boxes over here also, but I would prefer it to write it over here because this is your whole data type, right? And this is your variable. So we are just separating it. So this is integer type, and if I write this, that means it is a array. Okay, it is a integer type of array. So that's why I said homogeneous means it will gonna store similar data types, right? So I have given a type of int. Okay, similarly I can give a type of string also. So this is a string array. Over here I have to write string. Okay, so similarly this is now a string array, so it can store a sequence of characters, right? So once we do that, we have created 5 boxes of int. Okay, yeah, so I have created 5 boxes, right? Now how to fill in these? Okay, so I have created these all are of int type. Now if I write array of 0, that means at 0th position I am placing a value of 10. Okay, so what I said, it is an indexed collection, so 0 is an index. Okay, now at 0th index I am putting my 10 value. So over here I'm putting like this 10. Okay, so this is the 0th position. An array always starts from 0 indexing, it never starts from 1. Okay, so first 0 will come, and then 1 2 3 4. So this is how a array is indexed. Okay, now similarly to store in first index, I'm gonna write 20, and to store in the last index, fourth index, just say 40. Now can you guys say what will be in the first position and at the fourth position? What are the values? So at first position we have stored 20, and at fourth position we have stored 40. What is there inside 2 and 3? Okay, so, and in array we already have to know a size of the array, so that is one disadvantage. Okay, we have to know the size of the array, then only we can start declaring it. Okay, at the first only we have to give the size. So let's just, to print any value, I can use this inside my printing statement. So array 0, so I have given 10, so it should print 10. So I'm gonna save it and then run it. It's printing 10, right? And if I print, let's just say 2. Okay, so for 2 we have not stored any value. It's gonna give me 0. Okay, because in Java, if you do not give any value to an integer type, by default it's going to be 0. Fine. So this was about putting value. So this is a 1D array, okay, one dimensional array. And yeah, so as of you can see that we are already using an array. We are using a string array. Can you see over here in the main method? So this is a string array, right? As I showed you earlier, this is a string array, and this args is a variable. I can change this variable as anything. Okay, so this is just a variable. So while we give input using keyboard, right? So that it's gonna take in a string of array type. So this is how array works. So we'll talk about classes and objects in detail later, but I'm just letting you know that array is an object in Java, and that's why we can create it using our new variable. Okay, so whenever we create an array, whenever we use an array, any array is an object in Java, because everything in Java is based on classes or objects. So as I said, base size is mandatory. So this size you have to give. Okay, if I don't give the size, it's gonna give me a error. Okay, and now in the previous session, I said that I'm gonna tell you about for each loop when we go to array. So this is the time. Now, what is the syntax of for each? So like we have to write for first, and then what type of array it is. It is of integer type, right? So we'll first write int, and then any variable name. Let me say x. Then colon. And from where you're getting the elements, I'm getting it from array over here. So I'm gonna simply write arr. Now what this x will have, it will have all the values of array. Okay, so let me just fill it. So we have 2 and fill 30. We have 3. I'm gonna fill 35 over here. Now I'm gonna just comment this and write a printing statement over here, and I'm gonna simply write x inside it. Now x will have first 10, then it's gonna have 20. So if I just run this, so it's printing 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, right? So this is for each loop, and it has very less code. So our size is 5, right? So our elements are 5. So 0 to 4, right? So these are our elements. Now I'm gonna print. So I'm writing a print statement and my array. So I'm gonna print like this. Let me save it and run. Okay, so this is okay. Let me just comment this one and print it. So it's gonna print the same. So this
Yes, sir.
for loop is same as this loop. Okay, so every time my I value is increasing 0, okay, then 1, then 2, and
And
it's
then,
gonna putting it
uh,
over here. Okay, but
yes, sir.
instead of indexes, my x is directly getting the value of these 10, 20, 30, 35, 40.
Like, why we should represent only x? Like, any value,
Any
why we should
variable you can
represent?
take, any variable, any, or you can use string also over here, but then you have to then declare a string array. Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So see, some things are just like, because they're already declared. So if you will tell why you're using for keyword for this loop, I have no explanation, man, because that's how it's made. You can make your own language, and you can use anything. Right. So now let me write this as 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so how it should print? It's gonna print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this is in descending order, right? Now I wanna sort it. Okay, so for sorting, we will not be discussing the algorithm right now, but there is a class known as arrays. Okay, and that arrays in Java will sort it in a very less time. So we have arrays. Okay, let me write it over here. Arrays dot sort is a function, and we can pass our array in it. Okay, so it's giving me error because I have to import this. So I've imported java.util.array. So it's in util package. Array is a class, and this is a function, and I'm passing my array in it. So it's gonna sort it for me, and it's gonna just let me just show you. So it's printing for 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this I just showed you like that. Also, very important function of a array is to find out its length. Okay, so but we have already declared, we know it, but how to do it in coding is that we can just say array dot length. Okay, so this is 5. If I let me just simply print the length of the array. So array dot length. Okay, let me comment this, and yeah, so length is 5. Okay, so this is a function which will give me a length of my array. So if I remove this one, let me remove these two. Okay, now what will be the length? It's giving 5, because remember that what I said, once you declare an array, you're already declaring 5 boxes, right? And over here you'll fill some values. If you don't fill also, what would be the default value? 0. And then the length of this will be 5. Okay, so this was about one-dimensional array, and now let's move on to two-dimensional array. So whenever there is a question related to matrices, at least for beginners, will have to use 2D array. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna declare my 2D array. Okay, so I'm gonna just give one more square brackets. Okay, and over here also I have to give one more square bracket. Over this is a 2D array. So this is only the syntax. Okay, we will have to learn more. Now, as I said that we have to give base size. So we have given the base size. If we give this a size, then also okay. If we give it 0, then also okay. If we give nothing, then also okay. But if you remove this base size, then it's gonna give me error. And if I write like this also, then also it's gonna give me error because I have to give it a value, right? Okay, so now I was talking about matrices because 2D array is very much related with a matrix. Let me open my paint again. So now what is a 2D array? Okay, so let me first tell you what is a matrix. So matrix is nothing but you have a numbers inside it. Okay, it can be of any value. Let's just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and this has a row, right? So this is a row, right? And this is a column. If both number of columns are same to that of a number of rows, then it is a square matrix. Okay, so this is how we represent a matrix. So I was telling you about this because we are gonna do a question where we're gonna add two matrices. So this you might have solved in C also, similar concept, very similar. I'm just gonna show you in a Java syntax. A matrix. Okay, let's just say of, I'm declaring a 2D matrix. So mat1. So in my 1D array, I can declare like this, okay? Otherwise, instead of all of this, what I can do, I can simply write, let me comment this also, int array is equals, and I can simply put my value over here like this, okay? So this is also an array. So its size is 5, okay? So this also you can directly define a 1D array. Now to directly define a 2D array, what we are gonna do, we are gonna again say a 2D array, okay? These are just a variable name, and what we are gonna do, inside this we can write like this. I'll explain you, okay? So this is a matrix. So like I showed you over here, okay? So this has how many columns and rows? Okay, I can give comma and then again in a bracket I can write more values. Okay, so this has 3 rows and 3 columns. If my row is equals to the columns, then it is a square matrix. So if you want to perform addition of matrices, those matrices rows must be similar and columns must be similar, okay, must be equal, dimensions must be equal. So let me first tell you this in my paint only. So let's just say we have an array which has value of 1 2 3, and we need to add this matrix with another matrix. So if I want to add these matrices, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first pick this element, first element of from this, okay? So this is 0th row. So we are using array, so we have to start from 0th index, right? So this is our 0th row and this is our 0th column, right? So 0th row and 0th column, we're gonna pick this element, and from the another matrices 0th row and 0th column, we will be picking this 3, okay? And then we are gonna add these two. So what will be the answer? It will be 4, right? Similarly, then we are gonna increment our column, okay? So now our column is at 1, but row is at 0th only. So 0th row and first column we have second element. Similarly, in 0th row and first column we have this second element. So 2 plus 2, again 4, and then similarly this element and then this element. So we'll have 4 again, and similarly this matrix is gonna fill. Okay, so this is the concept of adding matrices. Fine, so let's write a code now. So this was my first matrix, and let me declare my second matrix also. So I'm just changing the values of my second matrix. So this is, let me make it identical to you. So this is a matrix, and this is my another. So this is my first and this is my second. So how many rows in first? We have, let me declare, okay? So how many rows in first matrix? We have 3. And how many columns in first matrix? We have 3, right? And similarly, we'll declare it for our second. So our second also has 3 rows and 3 columns. So can we do a matrix addition using these two matrices?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Why? Because row of first matrix is equals to row of second matrix, and columns in first matrix is also equals to column number of columns in second matrix. So we can go ahead and we can perform our matrix addition. Now we have our row one row. So first, what will be the first condition to check? That will check whether our row one is equals to number of row 2, right? And then we're gonna do and that means these two both the conditions must be true, right? And this two should be equals to this. And if this condition satisfies, we are gonna do our some addition, our matrix addition inside this. How to add it? Okay, so if any one of you have any intuition or any kind of solution, because I think many of you might have studied this already. So first we need a for loop, okay, and we'll go till our any, we can take any because rows and columns are of same numbers in matrix 1 and matrix 2. So let's just it was uh, I'm taking row 1 value, okay, and inside this we need one more for loop, and in which I'll put my column value, or you can say 2 or 1, doesn't matter. Okay, now we also need another variable. Okay, so in normal addition we use a normal variable like sum, right? But in two-dimensional array addition, what do we need to declare? What kind of variable do we need to declare? Okay, so how to declare a two-dimensional array? So as we are working on two-dimensional array and we have to add two-dimensional array, we need another variable. Let's just say addition. That variable name can be anything. Okay, so or we can say added matrix equals new in, and will the size will be of row 1 false 1. Okay, or you can write row 2 or column 2, right? Doesn't matter because both are same. So once we add, so like I have added over here, so once we add the matrices, we get the same number of rows and columns, right? This is also 3, and we get 3 values over here also. Okay, so that's why I'm already declaring the size, because I know what will be the answer going to be. I mean I know the size of rows and columns, right? So over here I'm gonna say added I j equals to matrix of 1 I j plus matrix 2 I j. Okay, and then how to print this? How to, so we have made a array, I mean matrix. So after this will add the our matrices mat1 and mat2, and in the added, so let me just say this is a added mat, so this is added wala matrix. Okay, so to print it similarly we will need again, or you know what, I can simply just write over here, I can print what has been added, and me use this print. So if you don't use ln, it's not gonna give a another line, it's not gonna come on another line that I've showed you in first session itself. And I'm gonna make some space after that. Okay, so to make it just like this one, so I'm gonna after a row, I mean after we finish one row, I'm gonna give a this print statement. So if it is empty with ln, it's gonna uh, give another line. Okay, so now let's just see. Gonna run it. Okay, why is that? Can anyone tell me what is the mistake in Paint? So this is my first matrix, right? And this is my second. Third matrix is my added wala matrix. This one, because I did not write which position the value I have to print. Okay, I'm gonna run it again. Now it gave me proper added. Okay, so 1 plus 3 is 4, 2 plus 2 is also 4, 3 plus 1 is also 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. Similarly, 5 plus 2 is 7. Right, so our matrix is fine. Okay, so this is how we add. Now what exactly happened during this statement? So now I just said that zeroth row, so first will come from zeroth row and zeroth column, right? So first I have I as 0 and my j as 0, right? And let's just say my j is a number of column I'm gonna increment, and my I is number of rows I'm gonna increment. Okay, so first my I is 0, okay, and j is also 0. Now put I and j 0 value over here. So this I'm inserting in 0th position, right? In this position I'm inserting. And now I'm adding the mat of 0, and my column is also 0. Okay, so my row is also 0 and my column is also 0. Okay, so 0 1 2 and 0 1 2. This is how we index an array, right? So this is indexed as 0 1 2. Similarly for every matrix. So now this is 0. Okay, our I is 0, our j is also 0. So at 0th row and 0th column we have this element, and we are adding matrix 2. Again, in matrix 2 also we have 0 and 0, right? So 0th row and 0 column we are gonna use first element. Then after this it's gonna print that element, okay, and then my j will increment. So now my j will be 1. My j is 1 now, and my I remains 0. So when my j is 1, so I'm gonna store in 0th row and first column. First column is over here. 0th row and first column is 2. Similarly over here, 0th row and first column we have 2 again. So I'm gonna add these two, okay, in my this position, and I'm gonna print this. Similarly, j will increment again, and then we'll go to this. Then j will increment again, but j value will become 3, and 3 is not less than 3, which is the column numbers, right? So we are gonna come out of this j loop and we're gonna increment I. So now I will be at this position, right? So again, first row, then 0th column, this, then we are gonna add this and this. Similarly, then we are gonna pick this and this, then add it. Okay, similarly our j will be incrementing, and then we'll moving on to the this loop, and we'll end it, and that's why this is how this statement is going to be printed. Okay, so now if you have any doubt you can ask. I'll give you guys a suggested problem for you to solve. So instead of simply writing this, you have to take the values, all of these rows, columns and matrices values from the user, and then do the matrix addition. Okay, similarly you can try for matrix multiplication also. So thank you everyone, this is it for the session, and we'll meet in the next video.